damn good against your ground as well. So you kind of have to do a lot of damage against the Zerg with the Phoenixes. You have to be really careful. And in my experience with going Phoenixes, one basing against Zerg, it's hard to get out of Phoenixes. Or let me rephrase that. It's hard to know what to do after the Phoenixes. Let's say that I did the normal robotics facility stuff. I get my Immortal, I push, I can expand, and really the robotics facility is useful because I can get the observers if I need them. I can still always make more Immortals, and Immortals are never bad. It's not like, oh shit, I have 3 Immortals, oh, that's why I lost. No, Immortals are awesome, you know? So, it's pretty easy to just go on to the next thing. But Phoenix is not so much, and we're going to see it a little bit more here. So I was really curious when I saw this, because I was like, Huck, are you going for an immediate win with these Phoenixes? Are you going to try to do some sort of timing push at the front? If you guys watch Noni against Idra from the HDH Invitational, Noni did a beautiful 2-gate, and they were both warp gates, and he got Phoenixes really fast, and even chrono boosted it the way that Huck is. But Idra pretty easily held with just a bunch of Hydralisks. And, actually, I want to talk just a little bit more about that. So you heard me say that you can do this really scary one-base push with Phoenixes, but it's actually in such a small window that if it works, you kind of go, oh, thank God, oh, phew. I mean, if it works, then it works, and that's good, right? But if it fails, you're pretty fucked. Like, to be honest, you are screwed, because you're against a 2-basing Zerg, and you've been on 1 base trying to hammer him to death for so long. So I was really wondering how Huck would be able to overcome that sort of later effect. And here's the first way that I'm really liking. Just being aggressive early on with small numbers of units. Notice this Stalker was able to get a kill for himself. Looks like this Zealot didn't end up doing an extraordinarily great deal, but, you know, it did some damage nonetheless. Huck obviously trying to add a pile in there to do more warp gating, and here comes the Phoenixes. Have these Phoenix even poked into the opponent's base yet? Doesn't exactly look like it. From the Zerg's perspective, it's looking pretty damn even, and actually, when I was watching this game for the first time, I was just like, ugh, this looks really not good, okay? We have these Phoenixes that are going to be not so difficult to repel. We already have 3 queens up. We already have creep linking everything so the queens can join together. The layer is finished. Where the hell is the Hydralisk den? Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. This thing has already been finished. Look, Hydralisks are on the way. And what has Protoss done? Well, not much, really. I mean, honestly, just look at these numbers. Right? We have 5 ground units. Oh, 7 ground units. So we have some more Zealots coming up. We have 3 Phoenixes. And what do we have for Zerg? Well, we have 6 Hydralisks on the way. And 7 Zerglings and 3 Queens out already. We have a pretty sturdy force to be able to deal with anything. We even have the Spine Crawler that's getting moved here. The Zerglings are up. I mean, I wasn't expecting this to really do that much damage at all. But already these Phoenixes have 1 kill. They've managed to take out an Overlord. And look at these nice little tactics here. Moving to the backside, moving the units to the front side. Not committing to an attack yet, just sort of backing off. And what I really liked that Huck was doing is he kind of stopped gateway production. Notice that these gateways are not really making anything, as you can see, because they're not making anything. But the Phoenix production kept up. Actually, these Phoenixes are still being made. And with that money that Huck saved up, he threw down a Nexus. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess he really wasn't intending to make that many ground units at all, but man, he still needs to do a lot with these Phoenixes. So already 1 kill on the Overlords, and there's a 2nd kill, getting a little bit of map control. So this is cool, this very fast expansion, and then getting the Forge. But I'm still curious what his follow-up's going to be. Oh, look, a Twilight Council. You know, this is reminding me a lot of going Corsair in Brood War against Zerg, where you'd open up with a 1-base Corsair play, and you transition to Templar in order to stay alive. And look, taking out more of these Overlords. And what I really love about what Huck is doing is he's treating these Phoenixes almost like Corsairs. He is not overly eager to lift these Queens up, because look at how fast these Hydralisks got there. I want you to pretend that you are the Protoss in this circumstance. And this is very easy to botch. And in fact, what I'm about to describe sometimes doesn't even feel like a mistake. It just feels like bad luck. So I'm just going to pause and go into the Huck cam really fast. So what's Huck seeing? Well, I mean, he's expanding and doing all this other stuff on the mini-map, but then, oh, here, oh my god, look at this. You know what 90% of players do? They see a queen by herself, and they go, boing! And then they want to lift the queen up in the air and try to shoot the queen down. But I want you to just be aware of how fast these other units get there. So this Overlord is going to fall, and then look, all those units are there right away. Wouldn't have been nearly enough time to take that queen out. Not at all, but it's so easy to get over-eager when you have the Phoenixes and obsess about their Graviton Beam to kill queens off. You can kill these workers off so fast, but queens, a little bit riskier. Little riskier. So it looks like Huck stopped making around 4 Phoenixes. Now, if I'm against Protoss, I make like 5, 6 Phoenixes, right? I go a little bit Phoenix crazy. Maybe that's too much, but at the very least makes me feel awesome. So yeah, I mean, I generally get more, but it looks like Huck backed off. He's getting the Forge, he's throwing these things up, he's getting Twilight Council for Templar, and I'll talk about the Dark Shrine in just a moment. And one thing I love so much, oh my god, Chrono boosting +1 ground weapons. This is a very late game focused way to play, and it's all because he didn't overcommit to that mid-game timing push. And a lot of times you want to make a lot of ground units, you want to make a lot of Phoenixes. Because first of all, if you're making one Phoenix, it can't really do much by itself. You want them in groups so one can lift and the other ones can shoot down. So you're already making a lot of Phoenixes, but then you kind of go, oh shit, I'm low on ground units, and you see their forces and you're like, ugh, you want to make more units yourself, and you end up on one base too long. But Huck calmly did a little push with some gateway units, just 7, and then backed right off, expanded, and got the +1. Oh, that's so good. It's just speeding towards a nice mid-game solid push. And look at these Phoenixes, just able to lift up and just zip in and out, no problem at all. Doing some great damage. Marvelous work right there. And Huck's already building some more spotter pylons, and I think this is a very interesting choice, favoring this Dark Shrine. Because, I mean, as we're seeing, Habit doesn't really have that good of a resource situation at this point in time. I mean, he has 27 drones. Huck is ahead of him in probe count. I want you to realize how huge that is to have Huck ahead in the probe count at this point. Any Zerg, any normal Zerg who has 2 bases with a queen at each would have like 40, 45 drones at this point in the game. But because Huck has been so active about getting in his opponent's face, he's keeping his opponent down. But I want you to just realize that this is a very difficult way to play that Huck is doing. Notice these food counts. They're still very close. Huck has done a ton of damage with these Phoenixes, but it is what has allowed him to stay even in the game, and to maybe get a little bit of a lead. It is not a game-changing thing that has allowed him to easily secure a win at this point. They're a very focus-heavy unit, and already Habit is starting to get very secured. This is probably the most vulnerable spot right here with all these Overlords. And I just like the Dark Templar transition because we can do yet more harass via this channel, you know, like warping in from these warp gates. And due to the distances, we can easily snipe off an incoming Overseer. So that way, you know, not really too much of an issue. I'm starting to really realize Dark Templar are pretty powerful as defensive units in this game. So yeah, see, look at this. Darting in there, oh my god, almost lost one. And remember how I was saying earlier on, you don't want to get too over-eager with your Phoenixes and try to snipe off a queen. I want you to just watch how quickly this Phoenix ends up falling. And this is why the drones are probably your best target for the Graviton Beam. So look, shooting at that, look at this one. Almost killed, right? Just a few shots, 3 volleys from Hydralisks. And that's why it's very dangerous to Graviton Beam a queen. So in the meantime, it looks like Huck is building some more cannons defensively, getting Templar archives, and hey, look, here comes some Dark Templar harass. Where are the Phoenixes during all this? Are they... Alright, yeah, they are back home. Still just 2 gateways for Huck. But moving right on down here, and we could say that this is a mistake by Habit, but this is, I would say, very easy to get in this situation, right? Where you're just spending so much time trying to defend that, oh my god, some Dark Templar come in, do some great harass, and look, picking off right in between, there goes one more Overlord. So much damage being done, and now these Dark Templar are trying to rip through some of these Hydralisks, or at least they should be. Yep, there's one. Probably could have split these up to do maximum damage. I mean, there's the Overseer going up, but I would definitely say it was a worthwhile attack. Oh, yep, there's another Overseer popping up. And in the meantime, Huck has just now started to stabilize, has been on 2 gateways for a long time, and is just focused on teching. Look, there's +2 weapons going up. So late game oriented. Absolutely love that. Templar out. How's that Storm going? Hasn't been started yet. And now a few gateways getting placed in the back. A few more gateways being placed here. Get creative with your gateway placement. Put them, back here in a wall. So that way, if there's a drop, you can put cannons behind them or something like that, or even warp in behind them. Put some over here, so if he scouts with overlords, he won't see them. Hell, put some up here on the high ground. No reason at all to have your gateways clumped together like this. This is just, I would say, carryover from Brood War, and also carryover if you're playing Terran a lot. You just kind of want to keep your things together. And look at this. Habit hasn't even begun upgrading. My god, if Artosis were playing, Artosis loves getting +1/+1 upgrades from 2 evolutions.